Wow, hello, welcome back. So, this is mostly experimental. I'm just going to have another go at this. And yeah, gonna start with this very strange thing that came out just as right in the new year. And it's this piece from the Times titled Arise, Queen Kate. And I mean, this is just some over the top nonsense. It's just crazy. So, I mean, I did read a little bit of the article, and it's not even worth going over. It's just a lot of, the typical fluff and, you know, blather about her always losing her phone or something, just trying to, the continued infantilization of this woman. Um, it's funny every time the US press talks about her, you get the impression that they're talking about a porcelain doll, like they're reporting on a precious little porcelain doll. It's just a very, very, very strange phenomenon. But anyway, I thought well, okay, before I get to that article, there's also this piece that came out um right afterwards, and it says Kate Middleton named an eternal influencer, echoing Queen Elizabeth. So this, of course, came right on the tails of this article that started off the new year. So, I mean, if this is any indication of how the year is going to go, then I guess we can just expect more of this typical fawning, obsequiousness, this over the top positive PR for Kate Middleton. So it was funny. This piece that came out in the New York Post saying Kate Middleton named an eternal influencer. I don't even know what that means. And to be honest, I don't, I don't really like reading the New York Post. It's probably going to be a waste of my time to read this anyway. But what I thought was funny that came out after this is that another brand that Kate wears is going out of business. And this is following, I think, something like 2 or 3 brands. Oh, good morning. Good morning, kitty cats. What time is it where you are? Are you on the East Coast like I am? Where are you? Oh, hold on. I'm gonna find this article here. Kate Middleton brand goes bust. I think this is the one. Yes, this is the one. Okay. And I'm going to put it up on the slide deck here. Okay, East Coast, where are you? In New York City? Or you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. I know it's okay if you want to keep it confidential. All right, so I can only share up to 10 images at a time. Sucks. All right. Yeah, so there's all right, let me take this one down. Remove from studio, and let's put this one up. Here we go. Okay, so next we see this piece coming out in the Daily Mail about another designer that Kate wears that is going bust. And this is like the second or third designer now that has gone bankrupt. What happened to the Kate effect? I thought there was this thing called the Kate effect where she was, responsible for $1 billion worth of revenue in the British fashion industry. What happened to all that? So we have here Kate Middleton named an eternal influencer, echoing Queen Elizabeth. And then we get this report saying that her, her designers, the designers that she wears, are going bust. So which is it? Mid-Atlantic, but grew up in New York. Okay, cool. So glad that you're here. Like I said at the beginning, this is just like purely experimental. I'm not going to be on for very long tonight because I'm still trying to feel my way through this. I know it's been long enough, but I've been busy. And I've been trying to use OBS, but it's just a kind of not very user-friendly. OBS is not very user-friendly. So this one has very limited capabilities with this platform I'm using right now, StreamYard, but it's very, very user-friendly. That's the nice thing about it. So I'm just going to do the best that I can and read a couple of articles and discuss, and then we can go to bed. All right. So if you saw the piece, I'm going to take this one back off and put, take this off, remove from studio. I'm going to put this one back up here. We started off the new year with this very strange magazine cover here. Arise, Queen Kate. Now, what is this about? What are they trying to do here? Why are they trying to coronate this woman? Charles is not even dead yet, okay? And both her and William have been on about this, how, he can't wait to be king and what she's going to do when she's queen and all this stuff. And the article is complete nonsense. Like I said, I was going to read it, but I'm not even going to be bothered because it really is a load of shite. But I will read Amanda Platel's response to it, which I thought was really funny. All right, where are we? Be careful, Kate. You don't realize it, but your inner circle may have inadvertently stabbed you in the back. So now, obviously, this is in response to Camilla. Camilla is obviously hopping mad here. I mean, I'm sure Charles is too, because both William and Kate are, what is the deal with them? Why are they in such a hurry to do this, to jump into this role that they're obviously not prepared for? I have another article I'm going to go over in a minute about, I'm sure you've probably, if you're on X, you've probably seen it. This one right here, William has control over the media. So I'm going to go over this a little bit too. All right, so back to this one. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. This is from Amanda Platel. When I saw the headline on the front of a Saturday newspaper supplement, Arise, Queen Kate, I thought for a shocking moment something terrible had befallen Queen Camilla. Thankfully not. But Kate's beautiful smiling face nevertheless adorned the magazine cover. Let's take a look at the cover again. Let's take a look. One look at the cover again. Okay, now this is like the many faces of Kate, first of all. Do you guys remember that old movie from the 80s with that woman who had I think she had split personalities or something? What was it called again? The Many Faces of, was it Sybil? I'm not sure. Somebody can remind me if you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, does this look anything like the Kate that we have been seeing recently? I mean, be honest. Does this look anything like what we have been seeing of Kate Middleton recently? It looks nothing like her. It's so obviously heavily airbrushed. You know, these people keep talking about, they love to accuse other people of being narcissists. But to me, this is just the most extreme form of narcissism. Um, this has obviously been commissioned by whoever it is fueling Kate's PR engine within the firm. I mean, they are ramping things up to 11 here. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Arise, Queen Kate. What is this? So anyway, you can obviously, this is obviously another heavily airbrushed image of Kate. And let me continue to read this article. Okay, so Kate's beautiful smiling face, blah, 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 nevertheless adorned the magazine's cover, flagging up a 7-page piece about what kind of queen she intended to be. The article stated that she plans to make an impactful change, that she would be more ambitious and bolder than any of us appreciated, and that Kate will be a queen who really listens. I mean, don't they say this about her every year? Every year it's about all this bold, ambitious stuff that she's going to do. And then what ends up happening? She ends up doing not very much throughout the year. They're obviously probably on vacation now. But isn't it a bit soon to be talking about Queen Kate in this way, when Queen Camilla is still in situ, apparently in rude health? I guess that means in good health, fulfilling her royal duties and supporting her charities as well as her husband through his cancer battle. The article claims to have sourced its information through palace insiders. Wonder who those palace insiders are. I'm sure it's Kate herself. And close long-term friends of the Prince and Princess of Wales. Okay. That's a whole other story. Which made me think, did those close long-term friends of William and Kate have their approval to talk? Did Kate and William, in fact, sanction this article in the Times magazine about her intentions when she becomes queen? Well, we know the answer to that. Of course it's them. Of course it's them. Well, more specifically, Kate, because I get the feeling that Kate is in a big competition with William as well. I don't think that they're on this. I don't think they're on the same team here. I mean, in terms of them being on one side against Charles and Camilla, yeah, they're on the same team in that sense. But between each other, they're in a big competition with each other as well. All right, let's move on. We may never know, but even if they did not, it is surely ill-advised of their close circle to talk about her future in this way. Kate would never have intended any slight against Camilla, of course. She's being sarcastic. This writer right here, Amanda Platel, she is always dripping with sarcasm. But I can't be the only person to think that this emphasis on her queenly qualities is a slap in the face for the present queen. Camilla has long championed unsung charities. She is patron of more than 100. She has gone out of her way to help concerns that protect women and girls against domestic violence. Let me just pause right there and say, yeah, they say that Camilla is always championing these domestic violence causes, but do you remember when she had her little garden party? This was what? This was about 2 years ago, I think. Was it 2 or 3 years ago now? And the day after she had her garden party, where she had in attendance, Judi Dench was in attendance. I was very disappointed in Judi Dench. She had Piers Morgan and she had Jeremy Clarkson. And the next day, Jeremy Clarkson put out this piece, this, I don't even know how to, completely deranged piece about how he fantasizes about seeing Meghan Markle stripped naked and having feces thrown at her. You all remember that. So this is Camilla's friend. This is Camilla's big time friend here. And so, when they talk about how she's gone out of her way to protect women against domestic violence, I just have to side eye her for that. It's all, everything with these people is performative. Nothing about them is authentic. It's all performative. Anyway, let me continue. She is patron of more than blah, 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 blah. Okay, I read that already. That it concerns that protect women and girls against domestic violence, that encourage literacy and reading, that support the armed forces and veterans, and that care about the welfare of animals. Okay, I'll give her that she does seem to care about animals. Praise for Kate. As for that pledge that Kate will be a queen who really listens, the unsaid and perhaps unintended message is that Camilla doesn't listen. And yet, of all the things her detractors may throw at Queen Camilla, not listening just isn't fair. She deserves a sainthood for listening for decades to her hand-wringing husband going on about global warming. Okay, tell us how you really feel, Amanda Platel. The benefits of talking to his pelargoniums. What is a pelargonium? Is that a flower? Is that one of his high grove flowers? And much more, including his hardships as Prince of Wales. To Kate's credit, much of the article is a showcase for her Center for Early Childhood at the Royal Foundation she shares with William, described by aides as her life's work. And she puts that in quotation. I'm telling you, Amanda Platel is always shading Kate. She does it in a very sly way. Exactly. She doesn't have any friends. I don't even think William has that many friends either, to be honest. They always, you always see him with, like, who is those childhood friends he's always with? Van Cutsum, I think Van Straubenzee. Those are like his drinking buddies. I think he gave one of them a job or something. That's right. He took away a job that Camilla's sister had. He eliminated that as soon as he inherited the Duchy of Cornwall. And he immediately gave a job to his buddy, I think it was Van Cutsum. So he doesn't really have that many friends either. They're both, I'm telling you, they are both perfectly matched for each other. Not that it's not necessarily a good thing, because they're kind of like an evil duo. But Kate and William the universe brought them together for a reason. I mean, they are exactly alike. Even though they don't like each other, even though they're not living together, they're clearly not living together. And I have something else that I saw earlier today on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. That I want you all to take a look at and tell me that these people are not living separate lives. All right. Okay, I'll find it in a second. All right. Anyway, gonna continue reading this. Quoted in the article is Harvard professor Robert Waldinger. Remember that guy? They claim that Kate and that professor wrote an article together, with whom she wrote a powerful essay about the dangers of smartphones and screen time for children, called The Power of Human Connection in a Distracted World. Professor Waldinger remembers meeting former PM Tony Blair at a summit on early learning convened by Kate, and how Blair told him, it's so important that an institution like the royal family does this, because politicians can't do it. Would the professor have spoken out in such a way without Kate's approval? Who knows? But my point is that a good number of friends and acquaintances, some named, others anonymous, do talk about Kate in the article. And given all this emphasis on her as our future queen, I don't think they should have. Again, I think this is all coming from Kate herself, either Kate or her mother, or whoever her mom has doing their PR over there, because my goodness. One source goes so far as to compare William and Kate to dear old David and Victoria Beckham in the way they appreciate their own brand. While it may seem a ridiculous comparison, they say, I think the public can spot a genuine relationship and a genuinely strong marriage and two people who fit well together. How strong they are individually, but also as a couple. And I think that's a great asset. A strong marriage is undoubtedly important to the royals, but do we really want to cheapen our future king and queen by likening them to the Beckhams? Ooh, that's kind of harsh against the Beckhams. Is it really how William and Kate want to be perceived in this unforgiving social media world? Well, obviously, they are certainly obsessed with how they are perceived to the world. Another insider says Kate understands the crowns and gowns elements of the job, with the implication that it is a duty to show up looking gorgeous in carefully crafted couture outfits worth thousands and wearing tiaras worth millions from the royal collection. I do not believe for 1 second Kate's friends thought they were doing anything but supporting her in sharing her views, but it all seems a little premature and, dare I say, tacky. A recent YouGov poll deservedly crowned Kate as the most loved royal, with a popularity rating of 68% for the first time, ahead of her husband, William, on 62%. Now, this is how I know William was not on board with this article, because he would not have allowed any YouGov poll to crown anyone other than himself as the most popular royal. So this is just a bunch of BS. This is just a load of shit as usual. And, it's obvious that she's the one behind this. She is the one pushing up all this Queen Kate nonsense. And in the same breath, she's going to pretend as though, she's so mild and so meek and she has nothing to do with it. And it's all her friends talking about her. And we know she has no friends. Kate has no friends. Even her sister doesn't seem to want to be friends with her anymore. Okay, continuing. Nothing should be allowed to jeopardize the couple's standing, however much they want to change things in the future. Charles and Camilla are still working full tilt with many engagements planned in the diary for this year, including a joint official state visit to the United States on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. There will come a time to hail the ascension of King William and Queen Catherine, but it is not yet. It's just too soon for anyone to be cheering "Arise, Queen Kate." So that was Amanda Platel, and it goes on a little bit more, but I'm not going to read any more of it. Pippa deliberately, yes. Yeah, I think I talked about that in a video, that right after the news came out about William's affair with Rose Hambury, Pippa named her daughter Rose. So, look, I think there's a lot going on there between Kate and Pippa that we just, obviously nobody's going to really talk about. And I think I know there's somebody, is it Cliana D. Moore? She's, hey, good morning, Sharon Augustine. She always talks about the fact that, so Pippa has a master's in, I think it's physical education for children or something, if I'm not mistaken. And the rumor is that Kate pretty much siphoned all of her early childhood stuff from Pippa. And it doesn't look like she gave Pippa very much credit, because doesn't it seem strange that Pippa, who is the close sister, obviously they were very close at one point. Here we have the sister of the Princess of Wales, and her quote unquote life's work is early childhood development or whatever. Her sister has a master's in early childhood, something to do with early childhood. I think it has something to do with physical education and early childhood. And then you never hear about any kind of collaboration between Kate's work and Pippa's work. You never hear any. I thought that was very, very strange. And I think that might have something to do with the bad blood between them. Because I get the sense that Pippa is sick and tired of her just kind of taking credit for everything for herself. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. So the next thing I wanted to talk about here, which I think I put in the title of the live stream, and this is where I left off on my last video. This was the last video. In case you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and take a look at it after we get off here. I'm only going to be on for an hour because, you know, I'm still not used to this. So anyway, let's just talk about as much as we can. So this is Kate at Sandringham over a couple of weeks ago during Christmas. How big of a piece of shite do you have to be so thought? I'm telling you. Listen, kitty cats, I would just love to be a fly on the wall. When those courtiers are talking, you know, I would love to hear what these courtiers have to say, because I get the feeling that they can't stand her either. I get the feeling that the people around her cannot stand her. And how do we know this? A big clue. Natasha Archer, right? Look at how she left. She left like, you know, it reminds me of that. I don't know if you remember some years ago. I think a good few years ago now, there was a JetBlue flight attendant. I don't know if you remember this. There was a JetBlue flight attendant that quit mid-flight. He just got, I don't know, for some reason he got so frustrated and he quit mid-flight. Or I think the flight had either just landed or it was about to take off, and he released the emergency chute, you know, that inflatable thing that comes out when there's an emergency, grabbed a 6-pack of beers from the refrigerator and just went out. He was like, I quit. This is the way Natasha Archer quit. That's the way I picture her quitting. Because the way how she went out, you know, unprivating her Instagram account, letting everybody know that this picture of perfection that the press is constantly shoving in our faces is not what we think. She's not who we think. And it's very telling because the way the press is constantly trying to, I don't know, they're just all, if they're not sanctifying her, then they're infantilizing her. It's just a very strange phenomenon to me. Anyway, so here we have her at Sandringham, and we have this big old gash on the side of her head. And there's no way you can deny this thing here. I mean, this is just a horrific looking injury. And, For those people who are like, oh, well, she had that scar, she had a scar over her. Yes, she had a scar over her eye, but she did not have this thing prior to um prior to 2024, I should say, because when was the ambulance convoy? That thing happened like at the end of 2023. So we don't know. We don't even know if she was in that ambulance convoy. Okay, but we have a feeling that something happened during that time. Okay. So anyway, prior to her big reappearance at Trooping the Color in 2024, Kate never had this thing over her temple. Kate did not have this huge. Let me see if I can expand it here. Kate did not have this huge scar over her temple. She just did not. Okay, so what the hell happened here? Kate doesn't like to. I'm going to see if I can put your thing on here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Kate doesn't like to get along with women, not even her own. So yeah, that Natasha Archer said, yes, it was. And listen, and another thing with Natasha Archer too, Kitty Cats, you know that she's also divorcing her husband. What's the guy? Chris Jackson, Kate's favorite photographer. You know, they have a kid together. They're divorcing, and listen, my mind is just like going places. I'm wondering if Kate. Well, let me not say anything. Listen, let me just keep it to myself. Because she's the kind of person you can see always flirting with men. This was Kate Middlebum back in when she was back at Marlboro. The press doesn't talk about that anymore, about how she showed her behind. She showed her behind something like more than 100 times to boys walking outside of her dorm window or her classroom window or whatever. I don't know if she was a boarder there, because I know they have the two different categories: the ones that go home and the ones that stay and board in the school. I'm not sure if she was a boarder at that school. I think there was an article I read where they said I think it was probably the school she attended before where they said she was bullied. She wasn't a boarder there, but Marlboro, I think she was. But yeah, so this is a girl who was showing her butt to boys outside of her window. And they're trying to make out like she's so perfect and she's so, prim and proper. Listen, you saw the way she behaved around Roger Federer, okay? It was obvious that she was trying to flirt with him. I mean, she looks like the kind of woman that is hyper competitive, that is jealous in the company of other women of her, how to put it, her age group, of her social status. It's a big competition with her. So I could see her maybe being a little bit bitchy towards Natasha, and maybe giving Chris the googly eyes there. You never know. Hey, listen, you never know. We don't know what the hell is going on, because obviously, nobody's going to tell us anything. So anyway, so we have this big, huge scar here. And then the next thing you know, it was also flat. Yes, I saw that. I saw that. And of course, I would never dare to put that. I've seen the picture. I would never dare to put that picture of her chooch. Her chooch. Yes, she was absolutely a wild party girl. And that's the reason why her and William got together. She was always getting drunk. He was always getting drunk. They were always getting drunk together. And now that they're all grown up with kids and, they can't afford to be getting drunk in public anymore, now they realize that they don't really like each other very much, but they're stuck with each other. So the next thing that came up, this was right before the new year was heralded, and at the end of the year, they give these what do they do? They give honors. They give honors to I guess people who were in service to members of the family, and they gave this guy an honor. And if you know who this guy is, his name is Sam. Let me pull up the article here. Where is it? Is it this one here? Let's see. I left the art. I forgot the article. Here we go. I'm gonna find it again. Here we go. I think I have it here. Yeah, this is it right here. King Charles gives royal honor to Prince William Kate Middleton staff. So this right away, this debunks what a lot of the apologists for them have been saying. I mean, I've heard some really stupid things coming out of these apologists' mouths, like them talking about, oh, the plastic, he's a plastic surgeon. He was for Charles. The plastic surgeon is for Charles. Why does Charles need a plastic surgeon? Okay, I mean, I think it's the prostate cancer that he has. I'm not really sure why he would need a plastic surgeon for that. But anyway, this article sets the record straight. And it says King Charles gives royal honor to Prince William Kate Middleton staff. So they're making it very clear that this guy here, who they gave the honors to, is not for Charles and Camilla. He is specifically being given honors to William and Kate. All right, let me just read the article. The honors recognize the staff's contributions to the royal family. 2 members working in Prince William and Kate Middleton's staff get a royal honor directly from King Charles. For their contributions, they were selected for the New Year's honors list. The award's first recipient is Lance Sergeant Scott Robin Bishop. He is a driver to the Prince and Princess of Wales. Okay. All right. I'm going to skip to the part. Oh, here we go. No. Let me just continue because it talks about the nanny. And I always wanted to kind of go into what happened with the nanny. His job includes driving the couple to and from official engagements, which, though it did not get much public attention, plays a key role in the pair's daily functioning. Why did I just read that as dysfunctioning? To recognize his services, the Royal Victorian Medal was given to him, which Queen Elizabeth created in 1896. The second in line to receive the award is Maria Teresa Turion Barallo. She is a nanny to William and Kate's 3 children, trained at the prestigious Norland College. She has been caring for George, Louis, and Charlotte since 2014. And I don't know if you remember, in the height of the big disappearance last year, she wasn't around for a while. She was out. Nanny Maria Teresa Turion Barallo, she was gone for a while. She was not there for, as a matter of fact, I think they even went as far as to say that she had been dismissed at some point. So apparently she's back on board now. And what I think is probably the case is that, well, I don't know. I think she's either at Forest Lodge or she's at Kensington Palace. Anyway, I'm going to get to that because there's a video that I came across that I want to talk about in a little bit. I hope this thing didn't erase my video. It's okay. If not, I can pull it back up. All right. In addition to the Wales' staff, Charles also included the medical team in the award list, which was made public on December 29. These include his eye surgeon, Professor Anthony Bloom, traveling physician to Charles and Camilla, Professor Charles Deacon, and plastic surgeon, which is this guy here, Simon Eccles. It is worth noting that they become lieutenants of the Royal Victorian Order, LVO, a higher honor given to senior professionals. And then the article ends right there. So, now, okay, so here's one thing that I find very interesting. Why wasn't any of Kate's cancer doctors given any honors? Do you not find that strange? If they made this whole big deal, this big thing about how she received treatment from the Marsden Clinic, even though we have yet to see any of the doctors or hear from any of the doctors from the Marsden Clinic. She did this whole PR thing last January, if you remember, where the staff looked at her like they'd never seen her before, at least walking through those doors, where they claimed she had been hustling through the back door, which this is complete nonsense. There's no way that Kate Middleton would give up an opportunity to be photographed going in and out of a clinic for her so-called cancer treatment. There's no way she would give up that opportunity. So that whole story about her getting treatment at the Marsden Clinic is just absolute, complete bollocks, in my opinion. So anyway, so this guy's a plastic surgeon, and okay, we don't even have to speculate on whether or not he is Charles and Camilla's physician, because it states here very clearly that he is on William and Kate's staff. I thought that doctor who prescribed antidepressants to Kingston was Charles. That too. I think that it was a lady, right? I forgot her name now. Yeah, the GP. That's right. That's right. I don't know if that was Kingston's doctor. They claimed that it was Kingston's doctor. And that, and then, the thing too is that they never found antidepressants in his, well, I think they said they found trace Zopiclone, which was a sleeping pill. They found that in his system. But then another thing too is that they cremated him so fast, which is very suspicious. Why did they cremate Thomas Kingston that quickly? Especially considering that, if they had all this suspicion of him, I don't want to say the word, offing himself due to antidepressants, why then would you cremate him so quickly? Anyway, just listen. That's going to be that. I could be here for hours talking about that. Anyway, so we know that this is not Charles's doctor. This is William and Kate's doctor. So now the next question is, why is there a plastic surgeon on William and Kate's staff? Would someone like to answer that question? Why do William and Kate have a plastic surgeon on their staff? And I'm looking at this huge thing right here. And there's a commenter on my last video that mentioned that it looks like, I think he was saying that he had a childhood friend or something that had a really bad injury and it left a dent. And this is exactly what this looks like to me. This looks like one of those really bad injuries that are just, no matter how much you try to, no matter how much reconstructive surgery or how much healing it's going to go through, it's going to leave a dent. You're going to see an indentation. And this is what we're looking at here. This is an horrific injury. This looks like an injury that would knock a person out. Let's just be serious here. And I don't know what could have made this kind of injury here. I've heard some people say rumors that it could be that it was a tray. I don't know anything about it. Listen, these are just my opinions. I don't know. Okay. But I have heard rumors of that. I don't know if they're true or not. I'm not going to verify and say that they are true because I don't know. But this is something took a chunk out of her head here. They also embalmed Diana before they put her remains on the plane. Very weird of Anne going too far into foil hat. Well, yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. A lot of fishy stuff going on with this family here, you know. Very weird of Anne. What do you mean very weird of Anne? Are you is that a typo, or do you mean Princess Anne? Because now I'm thinking about that time when she got kicked in the they said she got kicked in the head by a horse. That seemed kind of fishy to me too. Anyway, let me not go off on a tangent here. So yeah, so this guy, now why would this have happened? So this came out immediately after this crazy article right here. Okay, so what does that tell you? That tells you, at least that tells me. Oh, okay, I figured as much. This tells me that Charles and Camilla, or more specifically Camilla, is just about had enough of commoner Kate. Well, Camilla is a commoner too, but you know what I mean. Commoner Kate and her bigging up herself, as we'll say in the Caribbean. Because what kind of nonsense is this? This is, listen, I'm no fan of Camilla, but I would even admit that this is extremely disrespectful to Camilla. Okay. Camilla, the queen consort, even though she dropped the consort part of her title, would not be very pleased to be seeing this kind of spread here. Her husband is still very much alive. She is not a dowager queen yet. She'll be a dowager queen when he passes on, and that's not happened yet. So why is the Times, or why is Kate Middleton's camp commissioning the Times, and I believe that's exactly what it is, commissioning the press to write these types of articles about her? It's the same kind of thing that William was doing all of last year. Okay, so what do? They name this guy as they give honors to this guy. Are they leaving a clue? Is this some kind of payback? Is this payback for this kind of usurpery? They are petty like that. This family is petty like that. They will do something. They will do things like this. So they know. I mean, listen, these people they talk about never complain, never explain. They are following everything we do. Okay. They're reading all the tweets. They're reading all the messages on in the comment sections of social platforms. They're watching all the videos. I have no doubt about that. Okay. And they know that people are talking about this. They know that people are talking about this. So are they giving a clue? Are they kind of leaving some, a little bit of, what do you call it? Breadcrumbs here? What's that? Kate's Botox doctor. Kate had somebody issue a retraction that she doesn't get. Oh, really? She had someone issue a retraction that she doesn't get Botox. Where is that photo I have of her? Give me a second. I'm going to find it right now. I think it's the one that came out last year at Wimbledon. Going to find it for you right now. And we're going to talk about whether Kate has, you know, it's just so ridiculous. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting Botox. If she wants to get Botox, who cares? Why does she always have to um pretend as though she's just so perfect, you know? Just like the whole thing about her being blonde. Oh, you know, she never dyed her hair. It's the sun that made her hair blonde. You know, just who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you dyed your hair blonde or your wig blonde. No, or you if you wear a wig, you don't wear a wig, you're wearing hair pieces. Nobody cares. But it just goes to show the kind of narcissism we are talking about here. I mean, this is some real pathological narcissism in my opinion. Anyway, let me pull up this picture here and let's discuss. Give me 1 second. All right, hopefully this will allow me to add another picture here. If not, I'm just gonna have to, yeah, I have to get rid of something else. All right, let me get rid of this guy, this one here. And that way I can add this picture. Okay, now take a look at, is this even the same person? I mean, look at her face here. This is crazy. Of course she's getting Botox. I mean, now look at this picture. All right, let's take a look at this picture. I wish I could split the screen here, but I can't do that right now. And let's look at this picture. This does not even look like the same person. This is not even the same person. Look at this. And now look at this. Not the same person. Well, it could be the same person, but obviously with heavy airbrushing. This is her airbrushed into another person. She's been airbrushed into another person. Because this is what she looks like, you know, when let me this to me looks more like what she actually looks like in real life. Okay. All right. So back to the scar. What could have caused this kind of injury? Well, first of all, when I look at this picture right here, my mind goes back to the article about, remember the Spanish journalist that said she was in a coma? This looks like the type of injury that could knock somebody out. Okay, this looks like a very serious injury. And I'm not even joking. But hey, you know, could this be Botox? I mean, yeah, it's obvious that she gets Botox, but this is more than Botox. This is stitches. This is something that will never go away. This is a scar that will never go away. And now we understand why the two of them are probably living apart. We know that they are living apart. There's a video I'm going to show to you. Looks like I'm going to have to upload it again, but it's okay. This is the Royalist here. Now, I wanted to read the article, but it's hidden behind a paywall. And listen, I can't pay for everything. Okay. Queen Kate angers jealous Charles. Now, I want you to just substitute the name Charles here for Camilla. Okay. It's not Charles that's angered. Oh, I'm sure he's angered too, but it's Camilla that's mostly angered by this here. So what he's referring to this piece right here, the Times Magazine, Arise Queen Kate nonsense. Okay, and I'm going to read a little bit of it. A glossy Times profile hailing Catherine as queen has sharpened royal rivalries and highlighted an awkward reality for the palace. Kate now outshines Camilla by a country mile. Now, here's the thing. I think Kate has always outshone Camilla. I think she's always I don't think Camilla was ever very popular, and we all know why. So look, Kate has always outshone Camilla, but I think what's happened in recent years since Queen Elizabeth's passing is that Kate has been, stepping over the line a bit more often, shall we say, and Camilla has had enough. So, I would. It looks like an interesting article, but I don't really want to support Tom Sykes that much. I'm not that much of a fan of his, but anyway. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Pianogate, which is the subject of my last video here. And there were some people that said, let me see if I can play a little bit of it here. So if you remember, this was like I think about 4 years ago or something. So this was actually the one I wanted to play. So I won't play too much because I will get a copyright strike.
Mother-daughter duet on the piano.
Yeah, I don't want to play too much of it, but if you notice, the point here, let's take a look. Look, like I said in my last video, I'm sure that they played the piece. I just don't think that the piece you're hearing, I don't think the sound you're hearing is them playing. This is an audio overlay. This is an audio
Middleton and Princess
overlay.
Charlotte.
Just like this thing she did. Oh, wait. It's not showing. Hold on. Where is it? Is it this one? Okay, it's just loading. That's the reason why. It's taking a little bit while to load. Yeah, so she did this thing a few years ago when I think she did a recording of a performance for Eurovision, and she did the exact same thing. I don't want to show Charlotte too much. Charlotte looks like a sweet little girl. I don't have anything against Charlotte. Take a look. It's the same thing. It's another audio overlay. Now, I want to show you this video that I came across, and this is years ago.
Thing, perhaps, was her choice of party piece, the slow movement of... The most surprising thing, perhaps, was her choice of party piece, the slow movement of Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto.
Okay, so I wanted to show that because what is the difference here between what you just heard and the two videos I showed you of Kate playing the piano? Well, this is a live impromptu performance, and she's playing an incredibly difficult piece. Okay, this is Rachmaninoff. This is not, listen, I'm not a pianist. I'm not going to pretend as if I'm a pianist here. But I can tell when something is a difficult piece and when something is elementary. Okay. And so far, we've seen Kate play some really elementary pieces, and then it's not even her playing live either. We've never seen her play live. Okay. It's always, she is so afraid of, I guess, making a mistake in public, of coming off as not being perfect, that everything has to be super edited, everything has to be overly edited and just repackaged, repurposed, glossy regurgitation of her life. And she would never do something like this. She would never do something like what Diana did here. I think like maybe 30, 40 years ago. This is a long time ago. This is more than 30 years ago. She just casually threw down her purse and said, okay, yeah, I'll play some Rachmaninoff for you. And this is not an elementary piano piece. This is quite a difficult piece to play. And I think it goes back to the narrative. What is that? Is that supposed to be Kate? Yes, gee whiz. That, I'm going to go back to that. That is supposed to be, are you talking about this? Yes. They're saying that this is Kate. They're saying that this is Kate, and also this is Kate. Does this look like the same person to you? This is her, and this is her. Okay, so yeah, that's right. Diana, and that's the thing, Diana wasn't sending out press releases trying to come off as though she was some kind of big. Diana didn't even care. She didn't care. She didn't care if you knew that she was a talented pianist or not. But here we have Kate, who is probably just a passable piano player, and they're always trying to make out like she is bigger than she really is, that she is more talented than she really is, when really she's just very average. She's just a very average person. But it's just part of this whole narrative of perfection that they keep shoving down our throats. And the part of the reason why I decided to do this video is that I'm just kind of sick of it, and I could tell that this was not a live performance. First of all, let's play it again a little bit here. Where is it? Okay, it's gonna take a little while to load. Yeah, what you're hearing here, it's a highly edited
Their
thing.
daughter duet on the piano.
Let's see if I can play again. We have this pre-packaged, everything has to be carefully edited and glossed over and packaged before it's delivered to the public. And then we have Diana here. We have Diana.
She positively scuttled from the room, whether her embarrassment was real.
And I think part of the reason too is that she's competing with Diana. I think that is a big part of it. She is competing with the ghost of her mother-in-law. And she's not she's competing with a ghost, and she's losing. So there's another thing I wanted to show you guys. Like I said, I'm not going to stay too long here because I'm just not going to stay too long. I came across this thing here, and I'm just probably going to tell me to, where is it? Hold on. Okay, I gotta wait for it to load. It's gonna load. Load. Come on, let's go. Let's see if it's ready. No? All right, I'm gonna take off the sound because the sound is completely unnecessary. All right, it's just taking a while to load. So what it basically is There is a video that came out, I think yesterday it came out, and it shows Charlotte and George descending a helicopter. Oh, there we go. Let's play it so you can see for yourself. And there we have Charlotte and George. Where's Kate? And they got the overnight bag. They got their little overnight bags. So this is Kensington Palace. This is Kensington Palace. And tell me again that they're not separated. Tell me they're not separated. Because obviously it's his turn to have the kids. That's clearly what this is. It's his turn to have the kids. So he is staying at Kensington Palace, and she's over at Forest Lodge. And never the twains shall meet. Okay, so this is another clear indication that they are living separate lives. She's over at Forest Lodge. He's at Kensington Palace. Who else is at Kensington Palace? We know that Jason's, his office is also at Kensington Palace. So it's much more convenient for him to be there. You know, that's where he wants to be, close to his boo. Okay, let me stop. Yeah. So what do you guys think about that? Is there anyone that still believes that they are actually living together in Forest Lodge? You know, where they kept insisting that it's her forever home, which I think just sounds so weird too. Nobody lives anywhere forever. The scar is not the only thing that stands out. What is going on with under her eyebrow? Let's take a look at the picture again that you're talking about. You're talking about this, like, yeah, well, it looks to me like that's just how big the scar is. I think the scar probably starts right above her eye and extends up to her temple. Or it could be, as Kitty Cat says, it could just be, I don't know, it could be Botox. I thought Botox was supposed to kind of fill out your make your skin a little bit more puffy though, or maybe she's due for another Botox treatment. I don't know. The weather is so bad here, so I don't. I was thinking the same thing too. Like, you know, it looks really cold. I mean, and then they seem kind of underdressed. So I don't know. I mean, they're the kids of the royals, so I guess they are special somehow. So the last thing I wanted to talk about here was this thing here. No, I don't think that is Botox. Yeah, I think this is Botox here. This looks like a very Botoxy face because it's kind of puffy. So this is a Botoxed face. This is an airbrushed face. This doesn't even look anything like her. This doesn't look like how she's ever looked. I mean, really, this looks like a completely different person. And this just looks like who she is. This is the real Kate right here with this horrific injury. So this is the last article I think I want to go over, and then I'm gonna call it a night because, like I said, this is just an experiment. Okay, this is just an experiment. Not trying to have a marathon live stream session here like I did the last time, which was a complete mess. Where is the article here for this? I'm gonna pull this up in a second here for you guys. All right, so William has won. It says William has control of the media. Here's what's being hidden from us. And this is something I've suspected for a long time, that many people have suspected, that William and Kate are behind all of these puff pieces. I think there's a lot more to that as well. Like I said, I think there is some competition between the both of them as well, both William and Kate. But in terms of William and Kate being a team against Charles and Camilla, I think that's definitely going on. Okay, I think 100% that's going on. And this article by Peter Hunt confirms that William has won. His victory over the media is unremarked upon by those he has vanquished. They are settled into their chosen role of offering up largely unchallenging coverage of the king in waiting. It was once so different. In October, the Prince of Wales told the comedian Eugene Levy in an interview on Apple TV that the media had been insatiable when he was growing up. They wanted every bit of detail they could absorb, and they were in everything, literally everywhere. They would know things, they'd be everywhere, and if you let that creep in, the damage it can do to your family life is something that I vowed would never happen to my family. That princely vow was on display at university, where he gave his first TV interview to me in 2004. In a wide-ranging conversation about life at St. Andrews, in which he confessed to being stumped when a grandmother asked him in the street if he knew a good place to buy underwear, the student prince emphasized how he intended to approach his future away from the Scottish town. I really don't want to be in control of my life. He told me, I hate losing control. I don't know what that means. Okay, so this has been William's lodestar ever since, applying to all aspects of life, especially in his dealings with the media. After a blip a decade ago when he was briefly nicknamed Work-shy Wills by the tabloids, I think he's still being nicknamed Work-shy Wills. He now basks in a level of benign attention rarely afforded to public figures. The dominant reason is access and the media's fear of losing it. It's William's trump card, and he's a wily operator. He once temporarily froze out someone who asked questions of his advisors that weren't to his liking. To stay on the inside track, the reporting of William suffers too often from the avoidance of difficult topics such as royal finances and the media's own conveniently short-term memory. For example, articles about his family's move to Forest Lodge. Their latest Windsor residence contained the promise that this would be their forever home. However, when a Kensington Palace apartment was refurbished for William and Kate in 2014 at a cost of £4.5 million to the taxpayer, the couple's spokesman at the time stressed it would remain their main home for many, many years to come. In other words, another forever home. Unless it's Andrew Mountbatten Windsor in the dock, questions about money tend to command fewer column inches than articles exploring what motivated William to grow a beard and the nature of the statement being made by Kate's fedora. Okay. When William visited South Africa on an environmental mission last year, the trip could have been overshadowed by a focus on his personal wealth. Of course, that was following the investigation by Channel 4's Dispatches, where it turned out that him and his dad were profiting from charities and were charging prisons and orphanages and all that bunch of Ebenezer Scrooge type stuff. So the Sunday Times had established that the private estates that provide the king and his elder son with incomes had secured rental agreements worth millions of pounds with the armed forces, the NHS, and state schools. On TV a few days later, the heir to the throne was given time to talk about a bracelet he'd received from his daughter after a Taylor Swift concert, but wasn't quizzed about taxpayers contributing to the roughly 23 million pounds he derives annually from the Duchy of Cornwall. When it was their turn, newspaper royal reporters observed a similar omerta. Imagine a government minister being given such an easy ride. It also happened this year in Brazil. For 5 days, the reporting focused once more on environmental issues promoted by William and his skills at playing beach volleyball barefooted, when the much bigger story was his contribution to defenestration of his uncle, who used to be a prince. Not once was this raised with him directly. There is much that has gone unspoken where William is concerned, not least when it comes to Prince Harry. A silent older brother has relied on sources to brief his side of the cavernous divide. He's been helped by the media, which in large part has cast Harry as the guilty person and portrayed William as wounded and above reproach. The truth, as always, is more nuanced. This soft soap approach means that when William makes pronouncements on topics including homelessness, mental health, and the environment, they go untested. His plans for when he fulfills his destiny are a key area where the prince continues to escape detailed scrutiny. He used the word change several times in his Eugene Levy interview, but provided no further insight. He spoke previously about carrying out his duties with a small r, and he's always talking about the small r. Again, clarity was lacking. The fine print is crucial when it comes to the position of an unelected constitutional monarch, where the room for maneuver is severely limited. The current status quo is seductive for a prince and means he'll become king unchallenged. So bravo to Peter Hunt for writing this article. And I think it's a good segue into the last thing I'm going to talk about here, which is Prince Harry's security. All right, just give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up that article here. So let me get rid of this so I can pull that up. All right. Okay. And the reason why I think it's an interesting segue, and I'm going to explain in a second here as soon as I share this picture. All right, where are we? Here we go. Okay. Prince Harry set to regain automatic armed security in the UK. The Duke of Sussex has won back police protection, which could lead to his children visiting the king for the first time in years. So now, I've seen some debates on social media where there's one faction that believe that this is Charles relenting. And then there's another faction that says, oh, Charles has nothing to do with this. This is all Ravik. You know, Ravik came to the obvious conclusion that this is a son of the king. So obviously he needs police protection. You know, it's not his fault for being the son of a king. He has had threats to his life, to his wife's life, to his children's lives. There was one, I think there was an article came out a few years ago where someone sent a white powder to Meghan or something, or to both of them. I don't remember. So listen, anyone who would say that Prince Harry does not deserve protection is just being a complete hypocrite here, okay? Now, I believe, this is just my opinion now, I think that William was the one behind him completely losing security in the first place. I don't think it was entirely Charles. I think Charles is a very weak man. Charles is a very pliable, weak person. I think this, following the Sandringham agreement, I believe that William was the one who pressured Charles into intervening and cutting Harry off of security. If you recall, one of the reasons why they had to, if you remember the Harry and Meghan documentary that came out on Netflix a couple years ago, Harry mentioned that they had to scramble to get brand deals so that they could get enough money just to pay for security. Okay. Because security is something that is a non-negotiable in their lives. Like, their lives are literally in danger without security. They have to have security, whether it's privately paid for security or whether Ravik is providing that security. So I'm happy to see that Harry has regained security. And I'm also I'm also very curious to see what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, because Mr. Incandescent is not going to be very happy about this. Okay, Mr. Incandescent with rage. So I think we're gonna start to see a ramping up of the Cold War between Kensington Palace and Clarence House. Okay, in other words, Kate and William and Charles and Camilla, because they are at loggerheads right now, big time. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Charles is just outrightly against William ascending the throne. And obviously he can't do anything about it. Camilla, on the other hand, Camilla is much like Kate in the sense that she's also a narcissist. Okay, listen, she's a narcissist. Kate is a narcissist and Camilla is a narcissist. Anybody who would commission something like this it has to be a narcissist. Can you imagine if this, I want you to just in your minds replace this image with Meghan Markle, Meghan Sussex, and tell me you would not be all over her as a narcissist. I mean, they're already accusing her of being a narcissist. All she has to do is wake up in the morning and they say she's a narcissist. Okay. Can you imagine if this said "Arise, Queen Meghan"? Oh my God, heads would be exploding everywhere. But it's Kate, so nobody says anything. When it's Kate, nobody says anything. Anyway, what was the point I was trying to make again? Yeah. So it's obvious to me that there is a raging battle going on between Kensington Palace and Clarence House, and I'm just like, I have the popcorn ready, you know. Something is going to happen. William is going to do something, because now this is a very public loss for William. Okay, the fact that Harry has gotten his security back. Let me pull that article up again. Where is it? The fact that Harry has gotten his security back, this is a huge loss of face for William. Okay. And he will strike back. Well, you know, what can he do really? He's going to do what he's been doing. Okay. He's going to do what he's been doing. And what has he been doing? Sending out, instructing the press to keep writing these silly articles about, oh, the Sussexes can't wait to come back. Oh, they're divorcing any minute now. You know, you've seen it, all these ridiculous articles. So expect to see a lot more of that, especially since the court case, I think the court case is coming up. maybe a couple weeks or so. So anyway, that's it for tonight. Look, almost an hour and a half. Wow. I was only going to stay on for an hour, but I can start when I start blabbing. I can't stop blabbing and blabbing and blabbing. So anyway, it was fun. Thank you so much for coming, Kitty Cats. You were the first one. So glad to see you, G Wiz 911, Joe Brown. Who else? Not too many people in the chat. Oh, Sharon Augustine. Let's see. Thank you so much. And I'm still trying to figure out the streaming thing. This is StreamYard, and it's free. I had the paid version, but the paid version wasn't that much better than the free version. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to the free version. I tried OBS. OBS is just kind of difficult. So anyway, so moving on. Let me know when is what would be a better time for you. I wanted to do it late in the night. This is late for me. I mean, this is 3:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And I kind of wanted to accommodate my UK audience, because there were some people from the UK who said that they, this would probably be a more convenient time for them, because I think this is this is in the early in the morning, like what, 9 o'clock in the UK now or something, or 9:30. So I don't know, if probably they're at work, so maybe they can't even watch it. But anyway, you'll see the recording. And oh, it's 8. Oh, you're in the UK. Oh, yay. Okay. So it's 8. Oh, it's 8:11 in the UK, not 8:31. Okay. Yeah, you probably meant to say 8:31. So I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, let me just play the outro music, and then we can discuss when we can meet again. Maybe we can do this once a week. And I have a video coming up on Mr. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And after that, I have another video coming up, which is only going to be for members only. So, yeah, I figured that's what you meant. So stay tuned for that. And I'm really, 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 really pleased that you guys came today. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much. Okay. There we go. All right. Have a good night, y'all. Thank you for coming.